Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse late night edition because some big news just dropped. That's right, a bomb. A Woj bomb just dropped about RJ Barrett. You can read right down there. Close to signing a 4-year, $120 million deal. That's right. But before we get to that, please hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And definitely drop your comments because I want to hear how you guys feel about this. Let's go. All right, here we go. Woj just tweeted this out, and he dropped an article about it. Full ESPN story on the Knicks guard RJ Barrett finalizing a 4-year extension worth up to $120 million. This, I gotta say, I am ecstatic about this news. I gotta say, it might be more emotional, honestly, to be honest, that RJ's gonna stay with us. Not that he doesn't deserve this. He totally does. And I believe in him, and I believe he is going to be an all-star, and he actually might even have I actually already said he is going to have an all-star type season this upcoming season. Whether he gets picked for the all-star team is a whole other thing, but he will deliver the goods. He is just the kind of player that I want on this team. And I feel we've been lucky to have someone like him with his character, his devotion to being the best player he can be. Eventually, that is going to it's going to bear so much fruit up and down this lineup. It really is. And here, let's keep going. So this is the one part I want to stress about the article that was in ESPN that Woj dropped. He said, for trade purposes, there was a poison pill added to this deal. Now, the deal is not finalized. They're close to closing in on this deal, just to be clear about that. For trade purposes, the poison pill is computed with a formula that would make the Knicks' outgoing salary on a trade at $10.9 million, but require the incoming salary for a team acquiring him to be $26.2 million. The restriction will be lifted on July 1st because this year he's still on the rookie contract, so we're talking about the extension. For Barrett to be included in a trade to the Jazz, the Knicks would need to find a third team with salary cap space to redirect Evan Fournier's $37 million contract. Not that difficult, to be honest. Lakers, there's plenty of teams that could use a player like Evan Fournier. And I will say the tone of Woj's article, basically he made it seem like this kills the Donovan Mitchell trade. I don't see it like that at all. I don't, actually. I see it as another move in the game of chess between Leon Rose and Danny Ainge. And I'll tell you why. Because look, Woj then tweeted this part out. New York's Leon Rose set a Monday night deadline with Utah to reach an agreement on a trade for Mitchell, or the Knicks would commit to the Barrett extension, sources said. Knicks Jazz closed gap on deal points in recent days on a Mitchell trade, but neither would go further. So it does seem like Barrett was part of that deal, or part of the negotiations of it. In a way, I think Leon drew the line in the sand to Danny Ainge. If you really want RJ Barrett, then this is what we're willing to give on this other side in terms of picks and any other additional assets. Danny apparently wanted even more. Well, now RJ is off the table. And that is a good thing. RJ should actually have never been on the table. That probably became a distraction in these negotiations because as time went on and Danny had more time to think about this deal, he probably thought, why am I not taking the best asset the Knicks have in return for my best asset? Well, it doesn't work that way because we want to marry your best asset with our best asset, and we're willing to give you lots of other assets that are of very good high value, but just not this asset. And I'm so happy that didn't happen. So happy. But this doesn't mean that it kills the Spider deal. And I'll get to that because Mark Berman put out his article, which you guys should all read. You guys should read all these articles. I'm just giving you my feelings and opinions on it and giving you my, little 2 cents on this. Knicks video, which is SNY Knicks. They tweeted this out. RJ Barrett is finalizing a 4-year extension with the Knicks worth up to $120 million. The bonuses in the deal will be tied to All-Star, All-NBA, and NBA All-Defensive Team selections, as they should, because 4 years, $120 million, it's a very good, fair deal all around. He could have gotten the max, which I believe was 5 years, 182 or 83 million. So it's definitely way below that. It's 1 year below it, but I think that's it's in RJ's favor. It's in both parties' favor. But if RJ delivers on his talent, like let's say he actually hits his ceiling or even surpasses it, then it gives him 1 year earlier to collect on it. Or if he doesn't come close to his ceiling, then the Knicks have 1 year earlier that they can make decisions with him. It's a very good arrangement. Excellent arrangement. Ian Begley, SNY, tweeted this out. Jazz have coveted RJ Barrett and Donovan Mitchell trade talks with Knicks. Barrett's extension takes him off the table in those talks for obvious reasons, including a poison pill provision that makes it very difficult to trade a player on a rookie extension before extension takes effect. All right, so there it is. Another piece that was on the chessboard has been removed. This is getting much more interesting than I ever. This has actually been a very fascinating negotiation. I know it's exhausting. I know we're all kind of tired of it. Oh, Donovan Mitchell, I wish it just would happen, whatever. But when we take a step back from it and look back on it in hindsight, we're going to see this has been fascinating to watch this whole thing play out. Especially if it turns out in our favor, we're going to totally love it, of course. Let's go to the Mark Begley, the Mark Berman story. Here we go. So Mark, he tweeted out, Knicks signing RJ Barrett to below max contract extension, leaving Donovan Mitchell talks in limbo. However, Knicks signing RJ Barrett to massive contract extension in Donovan Mitchell twist. It looks like RJ Barrett will be off the table in trade talks for Donovan Mitchell. I don't agree. I don't think so. And then he ends his article here by saying, he didn't end it. I just picked this part, just so you know. Not having Barrett in the deal would not seem to be a deal breaker. Sources contend unprotected picks are more important to Utah, which reportedly is after the Lakers' 2027 and 2029 picks in what could be a 3-team deal. All right. Well, I've been looking at the 3-team deal scenario. I also started looking at a possible 4-team deal scenario, which I will reveal if nothing happens tomorrow in terms of a deal. I will reveal what I think that could be. It's very viable, but they're very difficult to pull off. Even 3-team deals are difficult to pull off, much less a 4-team deal. But in this scenario, there's a lot of things that have to go right to make these kind of deals work. So sometimes you do need an additional team to come in to help provide something that another team is missing to just finally make that deal happen. So something's in the works, but what we do know right now is that we have finally extended one of our draft picks, one of our first round draft picks, because we extended Mitch recently, but this is our first round draft pick. That is a sure sign that this organization, this franchise is headed in the right direction. And I gotta say, I mean, be totally honest with you guys. If I'm an NBA player and I want to showcase my talent on the greatest stage in the world, Madison Square Garden is the place to be. And with players like this, with an organization like this that is willing to, basically take care of their own and look to do anything possible within reason to improve their team. That is a smart organization. We're watching the transition from what the Knicks were these past 20 years, which was painful for all of us, to now becoming a very smart organization that is looking at moves to build towards the future. That is what this signals to me. We are on the right path. That's right, fans. That's right, Knicks fans. The Knicks are on the right path. Now, this could also be a situation where they sign him to the poison pill does make it really difficult, but 4 years, $120 million for a player like RJ, that's a good deal. That is a good deal. 20 points a game. This guy's going to probably average eventually 24 points a game. He's going to get his efficiency up. He's a playmaker. He wants to be a superior two-way player, and he's constantly learning. People were complaining about, he only goes left. He finally developed his right hand. We saw it last season. He's only going to get better with that. We see what he's doing with Drew Hanlon this summer. This was a very smart move. The timing is interesting, and I think possibly Possibly this timing is very intentional for the negotiations with Donovan Mitchell with Danny Ainge, with Utah Jazz for Donovan Mitchell. It's possible that RJ Barrett was creating too much noise in terms of the negotiation, because at the end of the day, the Knicks weren't ever really going to. They would only trade him, I believe, if Danny adjusted his demands proportionately, and apparently he didn't. Hence that Monday night deadline. So here we go. RJ's going to be a Knick at least for another 3 years, or well, at least for another 4 years. Because you never the last year sometimes players get traded or whatever, but I don't see it. I see this guy retiring a Knick, which is awesome. Retiring a Knick with a ring as possibly the second or third best player on a championship team. That is the high ceiling for him, and I believe he can achieve it. And I'm very satisfied by the situation right now. We'll see. I mean, this is Monday night. Monday night, I thought a deal would happen for Mitchell on Tuesday. I mean, this Tuesday coming up tomorrow, which you're probably watching this. It'll probably be tomorrow when you're watching this. And it might actually happen. By the time you're watching this, Donovan Mitchell might actually be a New York Knick. It's going to be interesting. All right. Thank you for watching this. My name is George. Please subscribe to Knicks-Verse and to Twitter. And drop your comments. Hit the thumbs ups. Turn on a notification bell so you get notified when I drop a video like this. This is excellent. I'm very satisfied, but I want to hear your feelings about it. Maybe you guys don't feel so good about this. Share that with me. Thank you so much. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.